Hello, everybody. It's your old pal Jerry V here, and this is another installment of the Tales from the Stacks. I'd like to welcome you all to the Lucero Library, and we have been reading a book together called Ruby on the Outside, and it is by Nora Raleigh Baskins. And I'd like to thank Simon and Schuster Books for Young Readers, the publisher, for allowing us to read this to you guys during this pandemic. So thank you very much to you two both. Um, so to recap, Ruby's been going through a little bit of stuff. She's met a new friend. She's going through a lot, going through summertime. She has some stuff going on with her mom. So if you don't know or you're not caught up with us currently, please go back and take a look at some of those other past videos that we've been doing from the Tales from the Stacks. If you would really like this book and don't want to wait for me to finish reading it to you, you're able to check us out from the PCCLD collection. We have this on shelf. So, without further ado, we'll continue on with Ruby on the Outside. Chapter 9. Margaret's house looks almost identical to mine. The bedrooms are in the same place. The same little balcony from the upstairs overlooks the living room. The fridge and the stove and the sink are all in the exact same place as ours. But hers is 10 times more crowded. And it's not just because 3 people live here instead of 2. Margaret, her mom, and her dad, who I haven't met yet. It's all their stuff. I've never seen so much stuff. So much cool and interesting stuff. There are things everywhere. Ceramic bowls filled with coins or dried flower petals. One with glass marbles. There are books just randomly piled or stacked on top of each other on all sorts of surfaces. Magazines and other little collections of antique looking wind up toys. Colorful glass bottles are lined up on the windowsill on the lower level living room. Matthew likes to keep our house very neat. If she sees me get up from the upholstered chair in the living room, she runs over and smooths out the lines in the fabric so you can't see anyone has ever been there. We have a glass table so you don't have to worry about leaving stains. But we aren't allowed to have drinks in the living room, so it always stays pretty clean. It's not that Matthew's house isn't clean. It's not that Margaret's house isn't clean. It is. It's just wonderful. The white walls are also covered with artwork, framed and unframed, that there is hardly any white that you can see. Some of the paintings were done by Margaret's mother, and some by her grandfather, I'm told, as Margaret points out everything and explains it. The couch is all mushy and soft looking, and there are different colored pillows thrown all over it, not fluffed up at all. Some are downright smushed to smithereens. Margaret wanted to know whose house I would be eating at and what time I'd be home. But other than that, I think she was happy that I was eating with a friend. Remember to smile, she told me, and to be polite. I am smiling now. I hope my homemade macaroni and cheese. I hope you like my homemade macaroni and cheese. I don't I didn't think to ask, Margaret's mom said when she opened the house to begin the tour into the kitchen. Not everybody loves it like Moochie does here. That's what Margaret's mom calls her, Moochie, or just Moo. Oh, I love it, I answered, though I'd never had homemade, and I was wondering if it would be as good as the kind from the box, because I see it in baking sheets and it isn't even orange. Then Margaret pulls me by the arm. Come see my room, she says. We are both sunburned from being outdoors all day. Yvette wasn't there to remind Beatrice to keep wasn't there today, and Beatrice kept us at the pool all day. She was actually a lot more fun without Yvette around. I guess Patrice felt like she could be more like a little kid without Yvette around. We played Marco Polo and water tag, and it was almost like we were just four friends. I even think Elise had a good day. I followed Margaret up the stairs, which are just like the stairs, which are just like my stairs, into her bedroom, which is just where my bedroom would be. Wow, I say. It's all I can say. Wow. Before we walk into the room, we have to get past the loose scarfs hanging like a soft wavy ribbon rainbow from a bar that is stretched across the top of the doorway. I carefully move some out of my way, and then I kind of have to duck to get inside. Wow, I say again. Margaret has a big double bed, like grown-ups have, but it's anything but grown-up looking. Her couch, like her couch downstairs, her bed was covered with pillows, but also covered with stuffed animals and blankets that look like they might have been baby blankets, knitted and flowery. One cottony blanket bunched up at the bottom has bunnies on it, and there's all sorts of pillow stuffed animal combos, and it all looks really old and really well loved. Her walls are covered with posters. Some were clearly from kindergarten, like Hello Kitty, and some were pretty new, like Demi Lovato. Margaret's room was just like she is, a free spirit, an open book, an open heart with lots of color. And then there are her books, everywhere. Her shelves are filled with what looks like a lot of history art projects, little Fimo clay creations, beads, crepe paper flowers, and her books are stacked on the floor and under the bed and on the windowsill. It takes me a while to see everything. My mom keeps wanting me to clean up, Margaret says. I will soon. Well, it's not dirty, I say. Margaret bounces on her bottom, right onto the bed. Thank you, she says. That's what I say. And it looks like you have lived here forever. I say because it does. It's so fully Margaret. I know. My mom wants me my mom wanted me to, but I didn't want to get rid of anything when we moved here from Glen Falls. Where's that? I asked, not because I really wanted to know, but it sounded polite, and I wanted so much for Margaret to like me. I don't want to say or do anything thoughtless or rude by mistake. Sometimes I do that. I don't mean to, but I do. Oh, it's a little town upstate, near Saratoga, she tells me. Saratoga? That's where I used to live. And I'm just about to tell her that, but I'm not sure she'd be very interested. Or if she likes being, or if it's like being one of those friends that whenever you tell them something, they tell you something about themselves right away. So I can't decide. But I don't have to, because right then, her mom calls up the stairs and tells us that dinner's ready. We gotta wash up. Margaret jumps to her feet. I can't wait for you to taste my mom's cooking. Me neither. And by the way, homemade mac and cheese is much better than any kind that comes from a box. Dinner was delicious. I wasn't going to ask, but Margaret's mom asked if I wanted seconds. I do. Margaret's dad was working late, so I didn't get a chance to meet him. It's only 7:30 and the light is still out. Matthew had said it was okay for me to walk back home by myself. It was only 2 rows and a few condos down, but Margaret's mom made me call my house before I left. and saying that I was on my way. I remember to thank Margaret's mom for dinner before I leave. Any time, she says. Margaret echoes. Any time. Now Margaret, now Matthew is waiting in the doorway. The light in the hall is on behind her, and she's almost glowing. Her hands are on her hips. What's wrong? I asked. I stopped at the edge of the sidewalk, the way Lulu does when she doesn't want to come in for a walk when it's nice outside and there's so much more world to explore. Nothing. Why do you think something's wrong? Matthew steps out of the way as if to encourage me to come in faster. She takes her glasses off and rubs her eyes. I don't know, I say, but I still haven't moved closer. You look mad. That's all. Without her glasses, Matthew looks sad more than upset, actually. Her face looks smaller. Her worry is more visible. Come on already. She puts her glasses back on and starts waving her arms. You're letting all the bugs in. When I get inside, I see a bowl in the sink with leftover milk and a few Cheerios still left, which Matthew must have had for dinner. I can't believe she hasn't washed her dish yet and put them away. Something is wrong. Did you have a good time? She asked me. Oh yeah, I had a great time. I say, I really did. Matthew smiles at me. I'm so glad, she says. Her face relaxes. I know it sounds crazy, but I think Matthew missed me tonight. Like, maybe she thinks I was all mushed. Like, maybe she likes it when I mush up her pillows. Next time, you could invite her here. I think I will. Chapter 10. It's pouring rain. Yvette and Patrice can't believe we showed up this morning for our camp. Me and Margaret. So far, no one else has, which at this point means just Elise. It's dark inside the clubhouse, which is our rain day location, but I don't think anyone thought we'd ever really use it because it's pretty dingy. That is, it's a big empty room where they used to store all the pool stuff over the winter. So it's full with extra folding chairs, tables, hoses, rakes, and umbrellas stacked against the wall. And there's a steady drip of water in 3 places, plunking down onto the concrete floor. Okay, guys, says Patrice. We have fitted ourselves into one big blanket with each other with another towel on top of it. So even that this is damp weather, it's actually warm and cozy. This is what we're going to do today. That must be her cue because Yvette dumps out a big white trash bag from Target. Notebooks, colored pencils, markers, pens, little kid scissors, and glue sticks all spilled out. Seeing it all, I can feel my skin tingle and my heart thump a little faster. It's exciting, all of those brand new art supplies. And before I could stop myself from blurting out with unbridled enthusiasm, oh, I love colored pencils, I instantly feel my face heat up with regret. I've done this before, just in the past school year, in fact. In 5th grade, it was early in the school year, and it was our first moving from classroom to classroom, but just one switch, math and science, with Mr. Williams, and then right across the hall for social studies and language arts with Miss Giovanni's. I am my embarrassed display of eagerness happened to occur in Mr. Williams' class. We had just learned about the 7 characteristics of living things. First, Mr. Williams asked everyone in the class to guess. I think making kids guess is always spells out trouble, and I don't know why teachers haven't figured this out yet. It's not like It makes any it makes everyone think or figure things out for themselves. It just creates chaos. But anyway, after a few ridiculous answers, a lot of toilet jokes from the boys, Mr. Williams wrote all 6 characteristics of life on the board, one by one, and explained each one: organization, reproduction, energy, response, growth, and adaptation. And without meaning to, I started thinking about my mother, because there was something missing from that list, but I didn't want to share it out loud. Eating is swell, growing up, maybe. Adapting and being able to figure things out on your own, critical too, I suppose. But love, I was thinking, things need to be loved. Well, maybe not all things, like maybe not amoebas or earthworms, but humans do. Human beings need to be Human beings need to be mothers who love their children, and children need their mothers to love. I'd read about babies in an orphanage who actually don't grow because no one picks them up and loves them. So my mind was wandering and I really wasn't listening. And then all of a sudden, I noticed the class was talking about manatees and baby seals. And I didn't want to think about my mother anymore and how I can't be without her. So I just blurted something out. I love manatees. And the whole class got quiet. And it wasn't because I had just said something really stupid. It was because I had seemed so happy about it, too eager to share, like a little kid. And that made everyone uncomfortable, and they all started laughing. They started laughing at me. I slouched down in my chair and vowed never to look overly excited about anything ever again. But now I feel the same embarrassment heating up on my face. Only this time, instead of laughing at me, Margaret says, "Oh, me too. Don't you love the brand new, perfectly shaped, sharpened pencils?" She takes one of the colored pencils out of the box and holds it up. "Good for both of you, then," Yvette is saying. I think she's being sarcastic, but I don't even care. This long, long day should go just swimmingly, she adds. Beatrice laughs like it's funny, and then they both get up, head over, and take a couple chairs down, and they start their high school type conversations. They leave us alone. The rain steadily hits the roof of the clubhouse like hundreds of tiny drummers. The wind picks up, and the rain shifts directly and starts smacking against the plexiglass windows. "Let's write a story together," Margaret says, "and draw pictures to go with it." Okay, I like that idea. I've never written a story with someone else before, but it sounds fun. I pull out one of the spiral notebooks. Margaret does the same. I start to write down. I, I start drawing first, and you start writing, and then we'll switch, she says. I look down at the blank page. Tiny blue lines inviting me to touch my perfectly sharpened pencil between them and see what the story is left behind. What do I write about? Anything you want, Margaret tells me. So, what should I draw? Let's think about it. I'm sure it's raining in Bedford Hills too. That thought comes into my head, but I know that my mother is in her cell. She can't see it. I wonder if she can hear it. I wonder if there's other ways to know if it's raining. Can she hear it? Do the COs come in from work talking about the weather? What's it like not to see the sky when you wake up in the morning? The beautiful sun or the dark, stormy clouds? So soft, humid breezes in the early July mornings or the misty, cool breeze of the summer storm. It's just so sad. So I blurt out, manatees. Geez, that was stupid. But I needed to fill my head. Perfect, Margaret says. Did you know that they think that they think maybe early explorers, even Columbus, thought manatees were mermaids swimming in the ocean? Mermaids? Exactly, Margaret says. So I say we write a mermaid story, and I'll draw mermaids and I'll throw in some manatees. Margaret holds up her notebook. She's already begun decorating the cover. This will be our illustration book, and that one that you got can be our storybook. We work all morning and all afternoon, trading back and forth. I started a story about mermaids and manatees, and then I passed it on to Margaret, and she wrote a little bit more, while I drew a picture to go along with the part she had just written. I didn't think much about it. It's pretty much like playing house or playing dolls, but instead of setting up toys, I just wrote down what I imagined everyone in the story was doing and what they were saying. We worked on our story and illustrations all through lunch, eating while we worked. And just like that, the time goes by. It's 3 o'clock and the sun comes bursting out. Yvette pulls open the sliding glass door and stands out looking, the sunlight glistening and sparkling off of every wet surface, every blade of grass. Even the plastic lounge chairs are all set up around the pool are all shining. Oh, great. Now it gets nice, Patrice says. We all emerge from the clubhouse outside into the fresh air. I think I lost half my tan today. Yvette holds out her arms. I'm blinking in the lights, and I feel like I've been underground for weeks, and that we've just lived our whole life. The life Margaret and I wrote down in our storybook and illustrated. We need a title, Margaret says, rubbing her eyes. Yeah, we do. Even Yvette and Patrice get in on the discussion as we walk back to our house. But we haven't come up with the perfect title yet. My sneakers get wet because instead of staying on the pavement, Margaret and I keep running after each other on the grass. My toes are squishing and my socks, Margaret says. Mine too. And and this seems to launch us into a whole other conversation about wrinkly toes and fingers and memories of staying in the bathtub too long. Yvette and Patrice aren't the least bit interested, but Margaret and I seem to be as if we've lost all the things to add to the infinitely engrossing discussion. To be continued, Margaret says as we get to her door. Hey, let's never say goodbye to each other. Let's always say, to be continued. To be continued, I answer. Oh, hey, that's a great title for our story. To be continued. Because we can keep writing it forever. The never-ending story. We can just go on and on. Even Yvette and Patrice approve. To be continued, I repeated. And now I know I have a real best friend. Well, everybody, the story seems to be getting a lot better, right? So we're going to have to find out what's happening in it. We're almost about halfway through the book, so things are about to hopefully pick up. So we'll see what happens on the next couple chapters. Thank you very much for joining me today. I'm Jerry V. Don't forget to tune in to other things that happen from your friends here at the Lucero Library. Miss Jessica's got some cool stuff. Our new friend, Miss Britt's got some cool stuff. So please come back. Don't forget to check some stuff out from us. We miss you all. Hope you all are safe. For me, Jerry V, and the Tales from the Stacks, that's it. Peace out. Bye, everyone.